Alright, so let's drop it from really high. Let's stand up. Not on our chairs, but just stand up. Ready? We're going to try to drop it right in the bowl. Ready? Set, go. Oh. Oh no, what's going on?
It's floating.
It's floating because
It's floating because it has no holes and it's like wide and it's not so light, so it can hold up.
Oh, I know why. Because it's lighter than those things. It's not heavy inside.
So the wood's not heavy?
It's thin on the outside, thin on the inside.
Alright, so we know that things that are wood float, right?
Yes.
Okay, do you think everything that's wood floats?
No. Because if it's
A tree won't float?
Yeah,
a tree
well,
will float.
How do you know?
Because one time I seen a log and it was big and it like had still leaves on it, so it was a tree. Cause somebody cut down a tree and it flew in the water and it was up high, so then it flew down to the water, but it's still floating.
What do you think, Chris?
I know that a tree would float because one time at an amusement park they had a log, they cut it into a ride and it goes down real fast. It goes under the water and then it pops back up. So you don't drown it because it didn't get so much water in it. So it just went right back up and kept going.
So was that ride, the wood ride, really big? And it still floated?
Yeah.
So what about these boats that I showed you? Do you think that they're made out of wood?
Yeah.
I think they're made out of metal.
Made out of wood.
Some are metal, some are plastic.
If you like throw like a camera in there, sometimes cameras sink down and sometimes cameras float. One time I put a camera I threw a camera in the water because I got mad and the camera sank down, but then it was a big deep ocean, so then it came back up.
So we think maybe, you said something earlier, Elijah, about how much water there is, right? So what if I had a really small cup of water? Do you think it could still hold, you would still float in that?
No.
Yes.
No.
You don't think
Yes.
so, Caitlin?
No.
Yes, because you got
Tell me why.
the bucket.
Ooh. You think it will? Why?
Because if we have,
I'll help you.
You don't know. What do you think, Morgan?
I don't think it will float because we have a big bucket and it has enough room to float all. But if we get a cup, it won't be able to float like straight down. It will only like sink.
Okay, what if I took most of the water out of here and I just had like this much water? Do you think it could still float?
Yes. But
No, why not?
in a cup.
I think not because if it's inside there, when you like put this down, there's less water in there and it doesn't have room to float.
I think
If you have like a teeny bit in there.
Okay.
I think it wouldn't float in a cup because a cup doesn't have enough room. So if you lay it in, our ocean's big enough to hold stuff, but the cup's just like a really small time. And if you try to put, let's say the sticks were a boat, if you tried to put the boat in it, it wouldn't fit. It would just be stuck there.
What do you think, Elijah?
I think how the boat flows. I think how it flows because the little mini spinning thing is just going so fast that the air of the ocean just keep on pushing it by the waves.
So you think it has something to do with the propeller?
Yes.
Can you think of any kinds of boats that don't have propellers? What do you think?
A cruise boat does?
A cruise boat might not.
A
What other-
canoe.
A canoe. So how do you make a canoe float?
You gotta.
What do you think, Caitlin?
You have to paddle it and it'll keep moving and it'll just float.
Okay, what would happen if we were all in a canoe together? Let's pretend we're in a canoe together. We're all paddling. Can you see your paddles? And then I said, everyone stop paddling.
It will sink.
We're gonna
down.
sink?
No,
because we'll float because one is on this side, one is on this side paddling, and one is in the middle, and then the rest of us is right here, and we keep on paddling.
But what if we all stopped paddling? What would happen to our
We'll
canoe?
still be balancing
Why do you think that would happen?
because we balance in the canoe. We balance in the canoe.
Oh, because we're
in the middle.
balanced, you think?
No. I think we'll float because if we stop paddling, the canoe is even out because there's 6 of us and there's like 3 on each side, and it might stay up.
That's a good idea. What do you think, Caitlin?
I think like if there's 3 of us in the front and 3 of us in the back, I think it would float because it would be steady, but it might rock back and forth, but it would be steady and we wouldn't sink.
What if I was in a canoe all by myself and I was sitting in the back? What would happen?
It
to my
would
canoe?
go backwards and you'll fall
You'll
in.
sink on your side.
You gotta sink.
No, I think if there's more weight in the front than if the canoe is light or a little bit heavy, just a little bit, and if everybody's on one side and you're on the other, we will sink down first and then you'll come last.
Ooh. All right. Do we think it's possible to make something float that doesn't float on its own?
No.
That
Yes.
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It does.
What if I put this in the water?
It floats.
Unless if the water
But
gets
then,
in there.
what if it slowly goes to the bottom? Right.
They'll keep on floating.
It'll just come back up.
If it goes in the hole of it like this, and if too much water gets in it, it will sink like an apple or something. It will just sink to the bottom.
Mostly blow
So
it
we think
up.
the apple will sink?
Yeah.
Definitely.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Who thinks that the apple will sink? Raise your hand. Elijah, you don't think it will sink?
No. I don't think it'll
All right. Someone give me a reason why they think it would sink.
No.
I think we'll sink because it's really heavy.
All right. Can we
I
toss
think-
it around? How heavy is it?
I think it will sink because it's not.
It's heavier than these, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
but
think
at
it
the
will
same
sink because it's not as so
Heavy.
wide and thin and stuff like that. So I think it's just gonna go boom right to the bottom and sink.
Might. What about these beads? Some of them sank, right?
Yeah, because
And they're a lot lighter than an
because
apple.
you throw it in like this.
But what about when I put it in like this and then it floated?
Yeah.
But then what if it slowly started to sink?
Then
It'll just come back up.
the apple's
It'll
gonna
come
the
back
apple's
up.
gonna float.
No,
The
I'm just gonna
apple will
float
float.
because it's the same weight as the banana. Maybe
All
a little
right,
bit.
let's find out.
My prediction was right.
Look, there's water in the middle.
So what can we say about the apple?
Throw it down and then
It won't.
I'm not gonna throw it in because it'll splash you girls. All right, but
I'm gonna throw it
It don't
in.
matter.
Can I throw it?
no, okay.
Can I eat it?
Can I get a balloon?
What about? Do you think the things inside of an object could change if they float or not?
Yeah.
How do you think so, Caitlin?
because if these beads have really small holes, it wouldn't sink because the water couldn't, a lot of water couldn't get into it. So like, if you have a big hole, then the water could get into it, and then it would sink it down because of its weight, and it would just drag it down.
Right. What would happen if we were in our canoe again, and then we hit a rock, and there was a big hole in our canoe?
Then it'll sink like the Titanic.
Why would it sink?
Because
Because
there's
it's
a
a
hole.
Caitlin?
Because there's a hole, and the water would get in, and it'll keep coming in, so there's no, and if there's a hole only in the front, and there's no hole in the back, but it would,
Can
the
we have
water
one?
wouldn't have anywhere to get out,
Huh?
and it would sink because of the weight.
Okay, so Caitlin thinks that it will sink because the water will get in.
And it'll,
Yes, Chris?
I think it will sink because when there's a hole, the water pressure fills up the hole, and then the boat starts getting lower and lower. And then if you stuff the hole with a sock or something like that, it'll start floating again. But then if like a wave hits the sock, it will pop out and then it'll just sink, and then bye-bye, you're drowned and you die.
All right, Elijah, what do you think?
I think it can float or sink. I'm going with both because if it cannot sink, because
Thank you, Mr. Taylor.
You don't never know because
Can we have
it could. If I pick both because it could sink because it have a big giant hole, but if it have a little mini hole, you can just cover it up or sit on it, and it won't.
All right, let's see what happens when I put the balloon in the water.
It's gonna float.
Chris, can I have that balloon, please?
My beads in it.
Thank you.
It floats.
It's floating. It floats more than anything else should, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't go underwater at all. What'll happen? Let's
It'll
try it.
float.
It's still floating.
I used to always do this and let it go, and water will go everywhere.
Why do you think it floats, Caitlin?
Because
Sit
it's
down.
got too much air and the water can't pull it down because the air weighs more than the water and it can't go down.
So we think that the air weighs more than the water, so
No.
it can't pull it down.
The water weighs
The water's
more.
not strong enough to pull it down. That's a
No.
good idea. What do you think?
So the air inside the balloon is lighter than the water and it's floating and the balloon can float by itself. So the air in the balloon can float.
What do you think?
I think it's I think the air because there's no way that the water can there's no way because the water can't get inside it because it's tightened up, and the water is the rubber band protects the balloon because the water not come out.
Okay. Any other ideas about why the balloon floats?
Yes.
I know why the balloon floats because it has air in it. But like everything else, it doesn't have air in it. But like wood floats.
What about the apple that floats?
I know why it will
The apple-
float. Because I know why the balloon floats because air weighs nothing, and when nothing is on, it's like there's basically nothing on the water, so the balloon gives it a little bit of weight, but so on the water it's just basically air wrapped up in a piece of plastic, so it floats because it has no weight on the water, and so it just floats.
Okay, why do we think that? So, okay, the balloon has air in it, right? That's why we decided that floats.
Yeah.
So, does the apple have air in it too?
Yeah. Well.
Yes.
Basically not, but the peelings, the things that's inside of
Is going
the
inside
apple, like the things that we eat inside the apple, is probably like the things inside the apple is probably protecting it.
That's a pretty good idea. So, what about the wood? Do you think there could be air inside here?
No. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Because the air
Oh,
can
no.
go in little pieces of the wood, and
I'll
then
do it.
there'll be air in it.
Alright, everyone gets a popsicle stick.
Yay!
Keep it?
Thank you.
And you're gonna... Alright, we're karate masters. We're gonna break it, but we're gonna be very careful not to get a splinter. Ready?
Okay, I'm gonna crush it.
1, 2, 3.
Aw, this ain't bendy.
This is not heavy.
Alright, be very careful of the
This
splinters.
is bendy.
This is.
It won't break.
Can I try?
It's bendy.
He hold it. He hold it.
Want to see my karate? I can do it with my
Mine's not even.
Alright, that's fine. It doesn't have to be even. I just
I
want you to be
broke
able to
it.
see inside it. Can you look inside? Who sees air?
No one. Air's invisible. It's a gas.
Oh.
Who wants me to see karate chop?
I'm
Alright,
a black
so
belt in karate.
my last question before you guys have to go to music is, what did we decide about why things float?
Because
I
things are light, but some things are heavy, but they have some have air, some are light, and some have air, some are light.
Alright.